Hello, everyone. I have had so much fun reading stories with you, and now we have time for one more story. So today we will be reading a story called The Grumpy Duck by Joyce Dunbar with illustrations by Peter Horchak. And the first thing I want to do is we are going to connect. So looking at the cover, you can kind of tell that this duck is grumpy. So what is something that makes you grumpy? I want you to think of it. And then I want you to think of something you do to cheer yourself up when you're grumpy. So what's something that makes you grumpy? And then what's something that you do to cheer yourself up when you're grumpy? Sometimes if I'm having a bad day, if I'm grumpy, something I do to cheer myself up is, I'll watch my favorite TV show, or maybe I'll have, my favorite flavor of ice cream. Those are things that I do to help me cheer myself up. And speaking of grumpy, let's dive into our vocab. Our first word is grumpy, and that just means to be easily annoyed or angered. So you're angry. What does your grumpy face look like? I want to see some grumpy faces. Let me see. Mine's like a So my grumpy face looks like. The next vocab word is ginormous. We have Clifford the Big Red Dog as a perfect example. Ginormous means extremely large, so like huge. So what are some things that you can think of that are ginormous? I have a picture of elephants right there. I have a dinosaur. What are some other things that are ginormous that you can think of? Some things that I'm thinking of are trucks, like monster trucks. Those are big. Um, Mountains, those are pretty ginormous. Super tall buildings, those are ginormous. Lots of big things in this world we're living in. And the last word is onomatopoeia. And that is a big word. So let me slow it down. It's onomatopoeia. Okay, and that's just a word that represents a sound. So that word isn't in our book today, but we do have a lot of onomatopoeias in our book today. So the first example we have is pow. So that's an example of an onomatopoeia. So what's your favorite onomatopoeia? What's your favorite sound word? So there's boom or ding, crack, boing. That's a fun one. What is your favorite onomatopoeia? Just any random sound that you like to make sometimes. I think I'm going to go with boing. That's a good one. Boing. That's a fun one. So now we are going to jump into our story. So these are our read aloud questions. These are questions I'm going to ask you at the beginning, and the middle, and the end of the story. So the very first question is, why do you think the duck is grumpy? So I'll go ahead and make myself bigger. We'll look at the cover. Why do you think the duck is grumpy? What's going on? I see this cloud in the back. It's a gray cloud that doesn't look very exciting. So I guess we'll just have to read the story and find out and figure out why the duck is grumpy. Grumpy duck. Here we go. Duck was feeling grumpy. The pond was dry, so she couldn't paddle in it. She had no one to play with. A little gray cloud appeared over her head. She waddled over to Dog, who was digging a hole. I've got no one to play with, she said to Dog. You can play with me, said Dog, if you like digging holes. I don't, grumped Duck. Digging holes would make my feathers dirty. Uh-huh, Dog sighed. The little gray cloud got bigger. Interesting. Pig was rolling in the mud. I've got no one to play with, Duck said to Pig. Come and play with me, said Pig, in my gloopy puddle. No thanks, grumped Duck. Ducks like water, not gloop. Oink, honked Pig. The little gray cloud got even bigger. Gotta keep an eye on that cloud. Rooster was cock-a-doodling. I've got no one to play with, said Duck. You can play with me if you like, said Rooster. We could sing a cock-a-doodle chorus. I just don't do cock-a-doodling, grumped Duck. Squawk, said Rooster. The little gray cloud got bigger still. Hmm. Rabbit was hopping around. I've got no one to play with, said Duck. Come and hop with me, said Rabbit. We can see who can hop the highest. You can, silly, grumped Duck. I'm not silly, said Rabbit. The little gray cloud wasn't little anymore. It was big. Tortoise was dozing in his shell. I've got no one to play with, said Duck, tapping his shell with her beak. You can doze with me, said Tortoise. It's very peaceful. Boring, more like, grumped Duck. Tut, tutted Tortoise. Now the gray cloud was huge. Oof, oh no. Cheer up, Duck, said Goat, who was busy eating the washing on the line. I've got no one to play with, said Duck. Share a snack with me, said Goat. Here's a tasty t-shirt. Ducks don't eat clothes, grumped Duck, and neither should goats. You'll get a stomachache. Oh, will I? Grumbled Goat. Now the great gray cloud was ginormous. It was a great gray blob hanging low overhead, so now all the animals were grumpy. Then something strange began to happen. The great gray cloud turned blue and purple and yellow until it was black. Oh my goodness. I definitely have a question now. My question for you is, why do you think the cloud keeps getting bigger and darker? It's ginormous now. Why do you think it keeps getting bigger and it's darker? I don't know. These are some things to think about, though. All right, I guess we'll need to carry on with our story. See what happens. Sitting beneath the ginormous black cloud was a dog who had stopped wagging his tail, a pig whose ears were droopy, a rooster who was no longer cock-a-doodling, a rabbit who had lost his hop, a tortoise who had decided to stay in his shell forever and ever, a goat who scowled at the big black cloud, and a duck who was still grumpy. So not only is this cloud ginormous, but all the animals are grumpy now. What sort of cloud was it? Was it a gloom cloud or a mood cloud? Could it be? Was it a grumpy duck cloud? Would it blot out the sun forever? Could it burst? Yes! Suddenly, there were splat, plop, plink, plitter, plat, dribble. What do we think's on the next page? I'm excited. Let's see. Millions of big, shiny, wet, splashy raindrops. Oh my goodness. Duck spread her wings wide open. She splished and splashed and sploshed. Duck wasn't grumpy anymore. I'm waddling in the rain. Quack, quack, she sang. One by one, they all joined in. I'm plopping in the rain. Oink, oink. I'm barking in the rain. Woof, woof. I'm cock-a-doodling in the rain. I'm hopping so high. Hip hop. I'm drinking up the rain. Slurp, slurp. What a glorious feeling, bleated Goat. We're happy again. Just waddling and paddling by the pond. They all sang in a chorus. And where was the big black cloud? But look, these are all the onomatopoeias I was talking about. We have woof woof with the dog, oink oink with the pig, bleat with the goat. It's like a bah. That's what a bleat is. Quack quack with the duck, hip hop with the rabbit, and cock-a-doodlin', cock-a-doodle-doo with the rooster. Those are all the onomatopoeias. Animal noises count. Where was the big black cloud? Gone. In its place was a bright, shining rainbow. That's beautiful. The end. That was a very interesting story, and I just have one last question for you. How do you think everyone felt at the end of the story? So the big, ginormous black cloud burst, and there were all these tiny raindrops. How do you think they felt about that? They looked pretty happy to me. They were all splashing around and having a good time, and that big black cloud had gone away. So, seems like pretty good news to me. That was a really great story, and now I have some activities for you guys. One of the first activities I have you do need an adult for because this does involve using hot water. It is called a calm down jar. So I want you guys to know that it's okay to feel grumpy sometimes, and we just need to remember to breathe and calm down so that way we're able to talk about our feelings and what made us grumpy. And then maybe we can try and get the problem solved. So all you're gonna need for this is a plastic bottle, any water bottle really. I just used a regular 16-ounce water bottle. Hot water, you actually only need about a cup of hot water. Glue, about 6 tablespoons, or if you're using a regular 4-ounce thing of glue, just using about 3/4 of that should work as well. A mixing bowl, a whisk, food coloring, and of course, glitter. So you're going to mix the glue with the hot water, the glitter, and the food coloring. I chose to do blue food coloring in mine. And I would recommend measuring out the glue, the glitter, and the food coloring first, and then pouring the hot water on that, and then you're going to whisk it as fast as you can, and you're going to pour it right into your water bottle. Make sure that cap is on extra tight. So the way these things work is it's kind of hard to see mine because I don't think I put enough glitter in mine, but when you have your water bottle, once it's cooled down, you're going to want to shake it as much as you can to try and get some anger out, right? And then you're going to kind of watch the glitter as it floats around, take some deep breaths, try and calm down. And if you can't make one, they also have videos of them online. So if you feel like you need to calm down, you can just watch a video of a calm down jar instead. But just watch the glitter as it swirls around, take some breaths, and then calm down so that way you can talk about what made you grumpy. The other activity that I have is a drawing activity. So you can use any paper and anything you would use to color with. So I remember when the clouds started raining, these beautiful raindrops, everyone was happy and there was a rainbow at the end. So for this activity, I want you to draw a cloud. And inside the cloud, I want you to draw things that make you grumpy. Okay, and then I want you to color over it in black. So we don't want to see those things. We don't want to see things that are going to make us grumpy. And then I want you to make it rain things that are going to cheer you up. And then you can keep the drawing in a place that you go to cool down, so wherever your cool down jar is, and then you can look at your drawing. So that way you can kind of see what cheers you up, and it'll help cheer you up, and you'll have your calm down jar as well to help you out. Some things that I drew, this is my drawing right here. I did blue and purple raindrops because those are my favorite colors. And then I drew an ice cream cone and a book, a cookie and a dog and a ruler because I really like teaching. So you guys can draw whatever you want raining from your clouds, stuff that makes you happy, stuff to cheer you up. And then that just about does it for today. We're going to wrap up. What are some things that you learned today? I'm really hoping you guys learned some useful tips to help you when you're angry. And then how can you help someone when they're grumpy? What are some things you can do to help them? Maybe bringing something to cheer them up, if someone's upset, maybe putting on their favorite TV show and just sitting with them for a little bit, right? That can probably help someone who's grumpy. And then tip of the week, just use those vocab words. We got grumpy, ginormous, and then onomatopoeia. So those are our sound words. And then I definitely invite you guys to give this book another read, maybe share it with a friend or a family member and tell them your favorite part and what you most liked about this story. Thank you guys so much, and I hope you had as much fun as I did reading stories with you.